It's Iain from RDO here. Welcome to the start of another one. Busy weekend, lots of sport on. Spoiled for choice this weekend. Anyway, we have now reached part 6. I think it's part 6. It is part 6 of the Elton John story. So we're nearly done. Apart from doing all this great stuff of his studio albums, his solo career, he also did a few collaborations. Don't know where he fits it in with all his soundtracks as well, which we're going to have a look at next week. But he managed to do some collaboration albums, and so we're going to have a look at them today. And there's 4. Now, out of the 4, I'd say there's only one that I really like all the way through. The other 3 have got a few bits on that are worth listening to. So here we go. So coming in at number 4. Now this was an album released in July 2012, and it's Good Morning to the Night, and it's the first remix album by Elton John and Pnau, or Pnau. The name spelled Pnau, and it's samples of various early Elton John songs mixed together to form completely new songs. And the album actually debuted at number 1 on the UK charts. God knows. Right. First track is Good Morning to the Night. The only good thing about it is Elton John's voice. It's not it's not a very good version of it. It really isn't. Sad. It's one of the better songs on here. It sort of resembles Sad, but I just don't like what they've done to these songs. Black Icy Stare, probably the best track on the album, but it's still not brilliant. Foreign Fields, it's alright. Telegraph to the Afterlife, I quite like that. It's quite quirky actually. Phoenix, it's alright. I wouldn't jump up and down. It's just not my style of thing. Catamaran, it's very boring. And 60 sounds plastic. Nothing. It's all electronically generated. There's no musicians on here. The only thing it's got Elton John singing. Not a fan of this album. I've only listened to it twice, and that's enough for me, I think. So I'm going to give that an RTO ranking of 2 out of 10. Okay, then coming at number 3, we got a 2021, and it's the Lockdown Sessions, an album that was recorded during COVID, so everything was sort of done at home and sent in. So it's basically him singing songs with other people. We have Hold Me Close with Britney Spears. No, it just does nothing to me. I just don't like it. It's too poppy even for Elton for me. Not my cup of tea. Then we have Cold Heart with Dua Lipa, whatever her name is. It's another artist that doesn't do nothing for me. Very successful artist, but not for me. Not the best version of this song, I'm sorry. Always Love You. Now this is with Young Thug and Nick Minaj. Lots of swearing in it, absolutely awful. Learn to Fly, Surfaces, featuring Elton John. What was he thinking he was doing? I know it was lockdown, but do something a little bit more your style. This is terrible. After All with Charlie Puth. It's not a bad track. It's quite listenable. I don't mind that one. Chosen Family with Rina Saywama. I think that's how I pronounce it. Just don't like this thing at all. I'm sorry. Pink Phantom it's the Pink Phantom. It's Gorillaz featuring Elton John and Slack or Six Lack or whatever. Oh dear, the worst thing on here, it's just not my thing. Sorry. It's a Sin with Years and Years. It's not actually a bad version of the Pet Shop Boys track. I think it's one of the better tracks on here. But the best track on here is a version of Nothing Else Matters that he did with Miley Cyrus, Yo-Yo, Robert Trujillo and Chad Smith. Best track on here. I like that track. It's not a bad version at all. Then we get Orbit with S.G. Lewis. Not my cup of teas. It's about 3 minutes long, but I could only stand about a minute. I just couldn't listen to it anymore. Simple Things. Now this is with Brandy Carly. Quite a quirky little track. I haven't got a problem with that. Beauty in the Bones. It's just got one of them annoying drum machines. Too fast. Horrible. Yuck. One of Me featuring was Little Nas featuring Elton John. Rubbish. I just lots of swearing. Nah. E-Ticket with Eddie Vedder. I don't mind this. It's probably one of the better tracks. It's quite rocky and it's proper music. Finishing Line that he done with Stevie Wonder. This was a great duo. I do like this one. It's a very, very good track. Then he did Stolen Car with Stevie Nicks. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Really strong song. And then we have I'm Gonna Miss You with the late Glenn Campbell. A great duo from a legendary country singer. I like that. And then Merry Christmas with Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran, I'm not a fan of him. He seems to get his nose in on everything. Where he always pops up in places. You know, what's he doing there? I just think he's an annoying. He's one of them people that really annoys me. He's probably a nice guy, but it annoys me. I don't like him. This album was about 6 songs on worth listening to. The rest for me is just not my thing. So I'm going to give that an RTO ranking of 5 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 2 is another sort of duet thing, and it's called Duets, and it was released in 1993. And on here we've got a version of Teardrops by Womack and Womack, and he did it with KD Lang. Really good version of this song. I think KD Lang and Elton John sound good on that. I like that. Then When I'm Gonna Think About It with PM Dawn. It's a really good song. There's nothing wrong with this one. Then there's The Power with Little Richard. Oh, great track. Written by Bernie Taupin and Elton John. Great sax on here. Great to hear Little Richard. It's a good, real rocky thing. Then we have Shaky Ground that he does with Don Henley of the Eagles. Quite funky. I love Don's vocal on this with Elton. Pretty cool. Then he does a Cole Porter number, True Love, with Kiki D. Yeah, they didn't do their big hit. They did True Love, and they did it brilliantly. Best song on the album, in fact. Really strong track. Then there's If You Were Me, which he did with Chris Rea. I like this track. You've got that real ruggy Chris Rea vocal, and it's really good. A Woman Needs, this is with Tammy Wynette, of all people, and it's a great version. I love that song. It's really nice. Old Friend, he does with Nick Kershaw. Good song, not bad at all. Go On and On with Gladys Knight, the Stevie Wonder number. I think they do a great version of it. Then he does Don't Go Breaking My Heart with Raw Paul. Awful version. Don't like it. Worst track on the album. Ain't Nothing Like a Real Thing. Nothing special about it, and this was Marcel of Detroit. I'm Your Puppet with Paul Young. A really good version of that song. I like that. Love Letters with Bonnie Raitt. Another good version. Fantastic. Love that song, and they do a great version of it. Born to Lose with Leonard Cohen. My second favourite track on here is really close to the original. I do like that. Then they put on that Don't Let the Sun Go Down that he did live with George Michael. I don't mind that. It's not a bad song. Then there's one here that he wrote for this album. It's called Duets for One. Great little song. Co-written by Elton John and Chris Difford of Squeeze, of course. Definitely prefer this to the Lockdown album that's got more contemporary songs on it. It's a nice album, actually. I don't mind this one at all, and I have listened to this quite a bit. So I should give this an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. So the number one for me in these collaborations is an album called The Union, which he done with songwriter Leon Russell, and it was released in 2010. So these are songs written by Bernie Taupin, Leon Russell and Elton John. The first track on here is called If It Wasn't for Bad, written by Leon Russell. It's a great song. Nice vocals on this. Really a good song. Very strong. $800 Shoes. You can tell Bernie wrote this. It's a great song. My favourite song on here. Really strong song again. Then we have Ahab. Hey Ahab. Sterling song. One of my favourite tracks on here. Another great track. There's some lovely playing on that one. Gone to Sheila, featuring Mr. Neil Young. Got a great vocal from Neil. Some lovely piano from Elton on that one. Very strong track. Hearts to Have Turned Stone. Bit of a country feel to this. You always get a little bit of country with Elton John. Very, very good track, in fact. One of the best tracks on the album. Jimmy Rogers' Dream. Love the steel guitar on this. Very, very good. Good song. There's no Tomorrow. One of the weaker tracks, but it's still listenable. Then we get Monkey Suits. One of my favourite tracks on here. Good rocker track like that. The Best Part of the Day. It's got some really nice piano on this. The vocals are really good. A Dream Come True, written by Leon and Elton. Once again, some lovely singing and some nice piano work. I shouldn't have sent Rolos. I should have sent roses. That's the proper title. There's some lovely horns on this and a great guitar solo as well. When Love Is Dying, Leon sings this and Elton does all the backing vocals. It's fantastic. Great song. My Kind of Hell, the combination of guitars and horns and some great singing on that. I love that track. Mandalay again, classic sound here. Some nice piano on this, really good. Never Too Old to Hold Somebody. Love Elton's playing on here. Leon's vocals are great. In the Hands of Angels. I love this song. It's a great vocal from Leon and Elton. Do a really good song this is, and it's a good way to the end of the album. There's just something about this album. It's nice and gentle. It's got some upbeat songs on. I hadn't heard of this album until I did the research for this part of Elton's career, and I never knew it existed, but glad I found it, because I love this album. It's certainly up there in one of my favourite albums, definitely top 10 of all the Elton John albums. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. So there we go. Next week we're going to look at his soundtracks, all the music he wrote for films. So looking forward to that one as well. Okay, I'll be back very shortly after a quick cup of coffee, and we'll be doing the last of the blues classic albums, and this is the #1 album in the Jazz Fuse list, and it is a B.B. King album, so we'll be looking at that very soon. Okay, I'll see you later. Bye for now.